Mother's Day looks a lot different this year.
Mommy needs a quarantine.
And our moms may be spending a lot of time with their kids right now. A lot. Like, so much time. And even though they love their kids to the moon and back,
Mommy! Where are you going?
sometimes moms need a little alone time.
Mommy!
You know, to recharge.
Go talk to Daddy.
Mommy! Where are you? Are you in there? Mommy! We can see you! Up and up!
I just wanna lie in the sun. Whoa, lie in the sun.
But no matter what's happening in the world, their favorite way to spend time is with their family.
But now my only win is now, and my only wear is when I'm by your side.
In good times, in hard times,
Mom! You're breaking everything!
in uncertain times. Thank you, Mom, for making time for us every single day.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for today. I ask that you would watch over us as we go to bed and rest, that you would speak to us in Bible stories and speak to us in
All right, what's going on, Chapel family? Brandon Butts, high school pastor here at the Chapel. We are so glad you could join us. Hope you got some enjoyment out of that Skit Guys video. Might have hit a little bit too close to home there for some of you. These past 7 weeks have been crazy. Me and Tommy Jones here, we wanted to do a little Mother's Day interview, just honoring you guys, honoring you moms out there fighting the fight and doing what you're doing. And we want to take a second to honor our own moms too, and give you a little insight into how they've impacted our lives and how we think that they're like some biblical characters in some of the Bible stories. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I'm gonna start the interview questions and then hand it right over to Tommy. So the very first question is, tell me a few things about your mom and introduce yourself for us.
Yes. Yeah, I'm Tommy Jones. I'm the middle school student pastor here at the Chapel, and I'm excited to be sharing this moment with you. And moms, we are celebrating you today, so I hope this gives you some encouragement. But, you know, a couple of things about my mom is, one thing I realize is she lived through some challenging times, and that really shaped her. She ran away when she was 18, dropped out of school early, so she put some things on herself. But through that, she had some situations where when she met my dad and they never ended up getting married, it was only a couple of years after the rules and laws changed about interracial marriage. And so she was kind of navigating this space. My mom's white, my dad's black, and she was navigating a space that was really new territory. And my grandparents weren't necessarily thrilled that she was choosing such options. It wasn't that they weren't thrilled with him or me. It was just, it was a difficult time. And so when I was young, fortunately, she handled it really well. She taught me a lot about the world, that God, you know, had a plan for me. And even if she was young and didn't know how to do it, felt unequipped and imperfect in a lot of ways, I was able to watch her work hard, navigate relationships, navigate society, and then still try to figure out where she was at spiritually, because her parents were very strict, old school religious Christians, and she was trying to find her way, and it was very different from that. So I learned a lot from her about fighting through tough circumstances, about embracing and preparing for the challenges God will allow in our lives, but also about how creating a faith of my own. So to me, those are some of the things, besides some of her own silly quirks that I probably have picked up by now. Some of the things that I look back and see is the ways I remember my mom from formation years. How about you, Brandon?
That's awesome. Yep. So my mom, a few things about her. So let's see. One of the coolest, she's going to get so embarrassed by this, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway because she's like super humble. So she doesn't want to talk about it, but she is actually a really good singer. So she sung a ton when she was in church growing up, and then ended up doing things like there was a company back when, it might still exist, I think, but it was called Amway, and she did special events that she sang for that. Oh my gosh, she's gonna hate me so much. She was actually in a pageant. Okay, I won't say which one, but yeah, she's awesome. But one of the cool things and one of the incredible things is I've never once had a question about how much me and my brother are just the priority in her life.
Sure.
She's a stay-at-home mom, and it was really important to homeschool us and to make sure that we got a good education. I owe my faith to her. Her and my dad witnessed to me. And yeah, so let's see, a couple other just like random things. One of the things that I appreciate about her the most, and you'll know this as soon as you meet her too, is she's so expressive, and that's what I get. You know exactly when she's excited about something, when she's worried about something or whatever, and it's just it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun, like energetic personality.
What do you think you've learned the most from your mom? If you had to say this is something that is the soul of who she is, the core of what she's taught us.
Yeah, so this is good. I'm glad you asked that. So I was thinking about that as we were thinking about this interview, and honestly, I think maybe the most important thing I've learned from my mom is empathy. So there's this thing where, so I talked about her being real expressive, and, that is kind of like an emotional superpower because she feels a lot of things, but then she can feel what others are feeling too. And that gives you this mindset of, when you have someone like Jesus who met people and kind of could see where they were at or understand where they were, this empathy that he used, she really taught that and ingrained that into me. And this, like, others focus what other people are thinking. But what about, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but what about you? What'd you learn?
Yeah, if I had to hone in on one thing, and this would be something I would encourage you moms out there that are watching, is you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And especially as a parent, there are going to be mistakes. She ended up being a single parent. Her and my dad never stayed together, but to see her navigate it and figure it out and use her strengths, but also admit her weaknesses. There were times when she didn't feel where she was at spiritually, maybe that she wanted to go to church, but she always made sure I went because she knew it was so important. And she made sure I got there, and she made sure she followed up with what we learned and talked about. So she wasn't going to do everything the way the perfect moms do on TV, Claire Huxtable, Leave It to Beaver mom, or whoever. Yeah. But she was going to navigate through her strengths, through her weaknesses, through the things that God presented in her life, and just allowed me to kind of have some freedom to define my faith. And no, I don't have to be perfect either, but just even as a mom, just being strong as best she could. So that was a key message to me, to not feel like I have that pressure to be perfect. So, I think too, just as we think about our moms and that lessons, I think how my mom reminds me, and it sounds a little crazy to compare, but reminds me of Jesus's mom, Mary.
Yeah.
And this is why, because she was so young, she really was in all circumstances from an outside view, unprepared and ill-equipped to be a mother. And just the fact that she went through some tough circumstances in her society and culture at that time, and watching her navigate and go, like it says in Luke 1, but I am God's servant. And so she didn't know always what to do, what was coming next. But she knew, if I trust God with this kid, if I keep praying over this kid, if I keep him with the right people at church and the influences of God's word, then things will be okay. And not to say that I've got it down, but those foundational truths that she instilled early on with support from other people in our lives were so foundational. So I look at Mary and I think, oh, interesting. My mom's name is Mary, and she was young and not married and not ready to have a kid, but yet here we are raising a kid. So yeah.
Man, that's one thing that we always gloss over, at least I do in the Gospels, is like how big of a deal that was, especially the whole virgin birth thing. I mean, can you imagine Joseph? Can you imagine the society? Like, oh, I'm sorry, what just happened? Like, I'm pregnant by the Holy Spirit. I promise. I promise. Like,
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to totally steal this one because although it's a different facet, so it kind of goes in line, but I was thinking about this too. And okay, so where does my mom fit with like a biblical character? And Mary came to mind for me too, but for a different reason. So, you know, it probably has to do with the fact that now I have a kid. So now I'm starting to think about, okay, this is what it's going to be like for me being a parent. But one of the things I didn't always get it, but I'm getting it now, is it's really funny. My mom always used to say, you know, as we would go through things, me and my brother, or good, bad, ugly, everything, she'd say, you know, Mary, she treasured these things in her heart, and that's what I do with you. And so when I was looking at this, you said Luke 1. I'm going to follow that up with Luke 2.
Okay.
And that is because I was wondering, it's like, where does that come from? Where's that? And it's twice. It's two specific times. And it just shows, you know, Mary was the mother of Jesus, who was God, but she was also the mother of Jesus, who was 100% human. And it was this, like, she treasured her son, and everything that was happening to him. And, you know, whether he was in the temple teaching or just whatever it was. And just the care and the, like, how much, you know, he was her world and stuff. So that for both me and my brother, I've always felt that. It's been like one of those things that knows how much she cares for us. So
good. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good. Well, we hope moms out there, you guys that are watching this, we hope you feel celebrated today. We hope that even though day to day we may not say thank you enough, we hope you know that how much we appreciate your love, care, sacrifice, just all the things you do from day to day to maintain our lives. We are so thankful. Also, just when it's tough, when you're stuck in the house 7-8 weeks in a row or longer, be encouraged. God has equipped you, moms, for the families and the children that you have. He actually not just only equipped you, but has chosen you to lead your children and your family. So, moms, we thank you. Our words are words of encouragement, but we want to end this time with some words from your own children in some videos that they made and put together. So, from Chapel Student Ministries and Brandon and myself and all of our students in Hampton Fuse, happy Mother's Day. Enjoy the video.
The reason I love my mom is because she's just been there for me, and I can count on her when I need her there. Her smile lights up the world, and it makes my day feel happy, and I love being her child, and I just want her to know that I could not ask for a better mother than her. Thank you for being there for me, Mom.
My mom and I generally don't have the same sense of humor, but there are a few times where there's like a song playing, and what she'll do is she'll just like start doing a really weird dance, and she'll get up all in my brother's face and like really start to annoy him, and I kind of get embarrassed by that, but it's also really funny at the same time. Something that I like about my mom is that she's kind of nice, and if you're going through a hard time, she'll comfort you until you get over what has happened.
Something that I love about my mom is that she would do anything for anyone in our family, and she is very loving.
My mom likes to have fun, whether we're playing a game or just joking around, and she's really awesome. Love you, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. The reason I love you the most is because you're very supportive of everything I do. The funniest thing about you is all the corny jokes that you look up on Google to tell our family at random. Happy Mother's Day.
What I love about my mom is that she's not just a mom, but she's a friend. She gives me the sometimes harsh truth, but she's also a safe space where I can go and talk to her about anything. She also does all this in such a spiritual manner that I am reminded that through everything, God is the answer and the pathway to my solution. Thank you, Mom, and I love you.
Sometimes when we see each other, we mouth. Yeah, we do that before we go to bed and stuff. Just a little cute tradition. A godly thing that my mom portrays. She's just very strong. She's very strong, and you can see the strength that God has given her, and she uses it to glorify Him.
One thing that I really love about my mom is that she always knows when to help me in the tough situations and when to let me deal with them on my own, so that way I can just get the most out of my life experiences.
My mom and I are pretty much the same person, and so when she gets mad at me, we always joke about how she's just getting mad at herself. And my mom's spiritual gift is leadership, and it's so great to see her use her spiritual gift through her job as a day school director. And I love watching her teach the kids about the power of God. It's awesome.
Something funny about my mom is we were working outside today, and she goes, "Nicholas, you look like a Neapolitan ice cream," saying I was the strawberry because I was burnt, the vanilla because I was pale, and the chocolate because I was tan. So I thought it was really funny. One Christ-like feature I really like about her is she's always willing to help and willing to get out there and serve and be with other people of Christ.
I like how my mom is competitive, and I also love how she loves people, and she makes people feel happy and welcome, and I just love that about her.
What I love about my mom is that she always supports me no matter what I'm doing. She has supported me through show choir for the past 3 years of my life. She supports me with everything that I do at the chapel, and it means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, Mom.